2023 on the American News Network. I'm going to be updating us on what's happening out there with the Houthis and all that kind of interesting stuff. And yes, it's alarming. They're taking over trade left and right. And because of that, things don't really look good for us as far as in the trade warfare going on in the United States. In other news, we're doing some homosexual filming and activity in the Senate. Now, should we put up with fraud by Menendez, sweatshirts by Fetterman, and gay love affairs that are being filmed in the Senate, or should we clean house with the entire Senate of the United States? They don't represent you or I. I think we need 100 new candidates. 200 and 100 new senators. They are out of control. All they seem to be able to know how to vote for is death and destruction. They've left Jackwagon Joe, their friend of China, in there long enough as far as I'm concerned. Now, I'm going to go over something here, and this is kind of interesting. This is 7 years ago, and what we have is Trump talking on Snowden. I'm going to bring up Snowden and Julian Assange today because Assange and Snowden, they were dropping the whistle on the fraudulent activities of the United States. And Trump thought he knew how Putin was thinking, but in this case, he's pretty far from it. So here we have him with gay Cowboy Cooper here. Let's hear how they talk.
Putin would get him over. I would get along with Putin. I've dealt with Russia. Putin hates. I think I'd get along with him fine. I think he'd be absolutely fine. He would never keep somebody like Snowden in Russia. He hates Obama. He doesn't respect Obama. Obama doesn't like him either. But he has no respect for Obama, has a hatred for Obama, and Snowden is living the life. Look, if I'm president, Putin says, hey, boom, you're gone. I guarantee you that.
Okay, so then that's what we were thinking, okay? However, that's not what happened. And I'm going to go on a little bit further here in detail as far as what did happen. And then we'll, sorry about the reception here. I'm going to try to get Starlink at this location. And we'll see what happens when that happens. And that's if I'm still online. If I'm not, my apologies to you. But listen to this. We're talking about the Russian citizenship. Okay, so basically Snowden was then granted citizenship by Russia. Now, if Trump honestly could have drained the swamp, it would have been through pardoning Julian Assange and Snowden, because they gave all the information that kind of exposed the CIA and the FBI and all the war crimes that we've been doing in the United States. And so those are just facts. And so why do then people that expose our crimes have to then hide out in Russia or other countries? These are things I want you to consider and think about. He was just, again, what did he do? Well, he exposed stuff.
The jury is supposed to be the proper authority to ultimately decide what is right or wrong. And I hate to say it, but under the current laws, that is explicitly forbidden under the Espionage Act, which, as you know,
Okay, so I'm going to bring up these things, and again, we're allowing lewd activities, but let's talk about Assange here and the 5 things that he exposed about our government. And this was WikiLeaks, and this was in 2006, and, basically he was exposing how we were killing people in Iraq and Baghdad and how we knew about it. Okay, our war crimes are being exposed, and this is one of the first and foremost things that Julian Assange, the WikiLeaks founder, was exposing. And this is in 2006 on. And granted, then Guantanamo Bay, number 2. These are other things I want you to know about as far as then how we were torturing people. Of course, the enemies of the United States, they do deserve the actions they have, except we need to expose both sides, and that's what these people were doing. Okay, so Camp Delta was being exposed. And then the war documents. Now, we're not allowed to basically commit war crimes. And this blew the United States away when we had literally hundreds of thousands of classified documents. Okay, as far as even our war in Afghanistan, how it was all done for Big Pharma, the 400,000 extra deaths and extra documents, and how the U.S. troops, how we knowingly killed civilians in Iraq, and the prisoners and the detainees. Okay. Then 4, he exposed the U.S. diplomatic cables, and there were 250,000 of them. These are his crimes. Okay. These are not crimes. The crimes were committed by Congress and the Senate and our government. He merely exposed them. So for exposing our government's crimes, this man's a criminal. And let's set the record straight here. If we would have, prosecuted on the information that Julian Assange did, then on Sony here, he exposed how a lot of our government officials were being bribed in connection with Korea, Japan, and Sony. And so these are all things that we need to seriously consider. And the other thing I'm going to expose here right now is how I think our military has been exposed. And you can read between the lines, and how China has already somehow figured out how to mess up our GPS systems. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay. Have you heard over this last week how Israel has been using pretty much nothing but dumb bombs? Have you? Come on, let's hear this. Everybody's been talking about it. Israel's been using dumb bombs. So I've got a story that's going to blow your heads off here. Why is Israel using dumb bombs? The only reason why they wouldn't have precision-guided munitions being used is if somehow our precision-guided munitions were not working. Okay, so this week in the Ukraine, the United States, us, were crying how none of our precision-guided munitions are working. Israel, I think, has known this. They haven't talked about it. In other words, the Ukraine war, all it was a test case proving ground so that Putin and Xi Jinping could manipulate our satellites, could get all of our precision-guided munitions off. And Israel knows about this, and that's why they're using dumb bombs. Oh, yeah. So the U.S. has been flagging Israel in the beginning about it. Okay. But I'm going to expose something here. Okay. And the thing I'm exposing is, in the Ukraine, we've got a different story going on. Okay. So this is precision weapons in the Ukraine. Big story that's just now come out as of yesterday. And how none of our precision-guided munitions are off. People wondered why. Chris, why are you bringing up the Chinese claw satellite? That's old information. Why are you bringing up FOBS, the fractional orbital bombardment system? That's old information. No, it's a very new war. We haven't fought it yet. I'm putting it down your throats, okay? There's an electronic warfare going on. I think we're going to get hacked here pretty soon, just within the next couple of months. I think they've used the Chinese claw satellite. They bombed our satellites. They put clones in place, and everything is being guided by China in outer space because we've had Jackwagon Joe in office. And, Trump had it down with the Space Force. And as soon as Jackwagon Joe went in, he canceled it, probably on the behalf and request of Xi Jinping. And they've been taking advantage of us up in outer space left and right. And I want you to know that. So this electronic warfare has been intensifying in the United States, and now we're claiming that Russia is jamming our Western precision munitions in the Ukraine. So in the Ukraine, the precision-guided bombs are not working. Okay, you got it wrong, everybody. What's going on is China and Russia have taken out our satellite system somehow, and Israel knows about this, and that's why they're using dumb bombs. So, again, let's look at the Ukraine, and we're crying about it. The other thing is this: Finland, you know, you're agreeing with the terms of the United States. You're letting us put troops out there. This isn't good for you. You should not listen to the United States and how we want to spread our troops around or our nuclear missiles around. This is not the policy of a free country. We are not a free country at this point. Look at all the miniature revolutions. January 6th is obviously something. It was a coup done by Nancy Pelosi and Mike Pence in connection with Jack Wagon Joe in China. That is my spin. I firmly believe it. They stole our president, and every single one of these people needs to go to Guantanamo Bay. I'm talking about everybody in the Supreme Court, every senator, every congressman. You're all guilty of extortion and fraud. There's probably 10 of you that are honest, but other than that, we're run by a bunch of criminals, and the entire world knows it. We